Hi, this is Jan Hibbert from Log Cabin Leather, and today I'm here to talk about what has changed with my craft since I discovered my passion 49 years ago. I'm going to talk about the tools and how those have changed, how my patterns have changed, how my products have changed from then to now, how my booth displays have changed a little bit, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that will not change and never will, as far as I can, as far as I can say. All right. So first of all, tools. A long time ago, all my tools and my stamping and carving tools came from Tandy Leather. Again, I started out with a basic 7 kit, it was called. It had 5 stamping tools, all of which I still have on my tool bench today, and so forth. And that's where it started. From there, I have purchased many tools since then. So I started with, and this is just kind of my stamping ones. These are the ones I more use for making geometric designs. I have a whole other rack like this, which is over here, that's used for more of the carving design. So that's really the one I should have pulled out for this video, because that's more what I'm talking about today. Again, so the quality of the tools has really gone downhill. When I bought the tools years ago, and the same tools that were in that kit I still use today. When I'm making belts or guitar straps, those are used in almost every single pattern I make. They're still in good shape. The ones today are poor quality and they bend. Actually, I can't find one right now because I think I've tried to replace them with better ones. But again, the ones that are better quality are ones that are older rather than newer. My lighting is not very good here. I'm trying to fix that a little bit. I'm sorry. So again, the older tools were much better. I don't buy very many stamps anymore because the quality is not good. Or I've bought some vintage ones from people that were selling off collections they had and so forth like that. The other thing that's changed a lot is my suppliers. A long time ago, again, I started in Boston. I used to shop in person, and they would let me pick out the hides myself, go back in behind the desk and pick out the hides and so forth. Those companies either went out of business or moved. Tandy Leather was something I still used for a while, that moved from Boston out to the suburbs of Boston, and I could still drive there once I moved away from Boston. But the quality of their leather and what they had was not really what I was looking for anymore. So it took me a while shopping around. I did find a couple suppliers. What I use from California, I like their leather, but it's not the colors and things you can get. There's a lot of different choices I can get there that I can't get other places. So for beautiful colors like pigskin leather and upholstery leather, they have beautiful colors, beautiful selection there. But it does take a while to get the orders and so forth because it's far away. But then I discovered a company in Ohio, which is really where all my supplies come from now. My belt leather, my carving leather, their leather is superior. I absolutely love it. And that is my go-to place for all my leather now. And they ship quickly and so forth. So that is great. Next, and that's Weaver leather, by the way. Next, I want to talk about patterns. So a long time ago, again, when I first started, patterns came from in books. They had a lot of books on carving leather, which I bought at Tandy Leather, and they had patterns for carving things. So one of the magazines is called Make It With Leather. Make It With Leather. And again, this is from 1979. I started in 1977. And the patterns for these, like this tiger, is one I do, and you'll see what I made out of that pattern in a minute. But this is the size of the pattern that comes in the book. And again, not showing you well on the camera. This is a pattern for that tiger. So look how big it is. It's 4 sheets of paper. So that was not anything I was interested in doing. And this, again, was before we had computers. So for me to get this pattern into a size I wanted, I couldn't. Not using that pattern. So then you're left with these patterns that were from the book also. So this is showing what it's supposed to look like carved and so forth. So now I had to take this pattern, and we did have photocopy Xerox machines back then, which I had to go to a store, and you had to pay so much, 10 cents a sheet or something, and I could try to enlarge or resize the picture a little bit. But again, you in a store, you know, paid for your copies, you know, so it wasn't something you could do or not. This is another one I did. And so those I will show, you'll see in this video. So again, patterns changed a lot. Once computers came into play, that was a real game changer, because now I could make my, you know, I could resize patterns myself at home. I could take things, and that's what I did with the butterflies and so forth like that. So that was the next thing. The animals I could still make. I still use patterns from like coloring books and patterns. I like a sketch of the animal to start with, because I cannot draw an animal for the life of me. So for some of the things I'm doing now, I still do rely on drawing sketches to start with for some of the animals themselves. So now the other thing, of course, that has changed over the years is my products. I went from making lots of things like book covers, and which is what you saw with the tigers and things like that. Those were journal covers, to making smaller items. So I started, you know, once I shifted, I went from, you know, making things with the birds and the wildlife, the book covers and so forth, to making the feather jewelry. I was trying to go smaller, what was popular at the time, my love of birds. So I started with the feather jewelry, and that became very popular. But again, I wasn't doing anything with wildlife, so something was kind of missing there. In 2020, I got a machine called the Glowforge, which is my laser cutter engraver, which is how I cut all my butterfly shapes. So that was a game changer, and that instilled the passion back in me a little bit, because now I could cut all the butterfly shapes, which I had wanted to do for decades. I mean, butterflies were always something I wanted to make realistic and so forth. So now it gave me the ability to do that. But that still didn't give me any carving. It did a lot of passion. My passion for painting and stuff really grew with the butterflies and all the colors and things like that. But I wasn't doing much with wildlife. So I think it was around 2022, again, with the help of the Glowforge, I started making some wilderness ornaments and things like that, 3D wildlife things. And so again, started with birds. So from the feathers, jewelry, you know, which I had things like this necklace. I went to feathers like this, which again, that's a goldfinch. That's the shape of the goldfinch's feather, and it has a male and female goldfinch in the tree or whatever. Same thing, downy woodpecker. So I made these in relation to the real birds and their feathers. The feather collection like this, again, these are birds from all over the world. Well, this is called a multicolored tanager, so that's from the western United States. But anyway, so I started doing things like that. So that rekindled my passion a little bit. Still not really the wildlife. So then, again, 22, I came up with a wildlife collection, and again, started with birds. So I started doing things more like this, which is a 3D. So you can see it has the owls in the tree, and there 3D, and you can see the little mouse that he's chasing at the bottom there. So again, designing art that tells a story. These things help to rekindle my passion. The ones I did at first did not have a backing, so it was just more like these, which don't have a backing. But then once I started putting the backing on a lot of these pieces, it really gave me back my carving again. So the back scene in this is a carved picture. Each one of those is different. It's set, you know, in the light of what I'm trying to do in the picture and so forth. So I designed them each to tell a story. Like this one, this owl is going after the mouse there that's on that log and so forth. So they all tell a little story. And then most recently, this holiday season, I came up with another line, which I absolutely love, which is, and I'm going to pursue some more, is my leaf collection. Now, again, I work at a museum. We talk about the leaves. We teach about the healing powers and healing properties from the plants and things like that. They're not powers, and so forth. And so I started making some 3D leaf decor. And again, I am in love with these things. So these happen to both be red oak trees. So this is a shape of red oak leaf. And inside of it, it has, again, my lighting is not, it has, this one has a mountain lion chasing the deer. And the deer is really jumping out of the page, off the leaf and so forth. So things like that. And this one's a bear family. So each of them tell a little bit of a story. So see, this has the one bear is up in the tree looking around. The other one's napping on a log and mom's standing there. Things like that. So they all have kind of a little story to them. And that's where I've gone now. And that really has rekindled my passion once again. And I'm loving what I'm doing once again. So I'm creating things like that. Some of the other things that changed over the year are my booth displays. My original booth was literally something that you had to use big tools, socket wrenches and things, and bolts that had to be put through these big logs. And it was like a lean-to, so it was taller in the front and lower in the back. And it had a big army green tarp that went over the top, so it was waterproof. And of course, extremely dark inside. I just had flat tables. It was ugly. It was hard to put together. It was pretty rugged, but it was not easy for me to do by myself or anything. From there, I went to Easy Ups. Those are really terrible. I went through at least 4 of those because, again, they would bag up with water at times, things like that. They stretch out, even if you put the noodles and, they didn't hold up over time and they weren't rugged enough for heavy wind and so forth. They just crumbled. I mean, at one show I saw 5 or 6 crumble right around me. One leaning on my booth and so forth, but mine held up because I have what now is called a trim line. It is a booth I have to assemble all the poles and corners. You can put linings on any side. I can make it a 10 by 10 or 10 by 15. You have all different options. I absolutely love it. And again, all the pieces are replaceable and so forth. Company extremely easy to deal with. So if you want information on that, please let me know and I can send you that information. So again, that's where my booth has gone from now. The other thing, of course, back then when I started 49 years ago, everything was in person. That's the only way you had to market yourself was in person. Magazines, newspapers, which of course magazines you weren't going to get into unless you were a well-known brand. And establishing a brand back then was a little bit hard. Once we got computers, I did build a website. I think I've had a website since 2010. But again, getting growth online has gone through many shifts. Facebook, I was doing pretty well on, doing live sales and stuff. Now the algorithm has changed completely and I get no reach, nothing on Facebook anymore, to be quite honest. So that's really changed things. I am still making an effort there, but it doesn't always pay off, and so forth. So again, now you can find me online as well as in person at shows. On my website, you will always see a list of the shows I'm doing. Right now, that list is being updated for the current year, and so that will be live when I get a few more things listed on there or confirmed. So again, that's what's changed about my booth. Now, the few things that will not change, my passion for wildlife and nature and making connections to things, my art, telling stories, painting, my nature themed things, my passion for that, I will not change unless my body gives out, my passion will not change for that because that is where my true love is. The other thing, again, I do love the geometric patterns and things like that. So my belts and guitar straps, I enjoy making those as well. So that's a total different kind of idea. But again, something I enjoy because I like the detail. It's all about the detail, the painting and so forth. I love the detail in it, the little scenes that have all the detail in it. That's what I love. So again, still making beautiful things. And this was going to be a wallet. Don't do wallets anymore. These are going to be pictures for book covers that, again, now have no real use because I'm not doing that kind of thing anymore. So again, but my passion and my love for animals is still present in most of what I do, or the geometric patterns. So again, the quality materials, I still strive to get the best, and I think I have found it. My Weaver leather, my products are still built to last. I've shown many videos where I have things, again, from the 1970s or 1980, 81 that I made for my family that are still in existence today. So my products are built to last. That will never change. So if you're interested in what I do, you want to see more of my products rather than just hear me talk here, which is probably pretty boring, I have to say, please become a VIP. I do put out videos and things each week. I do have, so you can see behind the scenes what I'm making. I do have product launches. I do give special discounts and early bird access to anybody on my email list. So join my email list, become a VIP. That's what I call it. So you should find a link, depending on where you're watching this, to join that. And if not, you can go to my website, which is listed at the bottom of this, or will be in the description, where you can go on my homepage. There will be a direct link to join my email as well, if you can't find it anywhere else. So that's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. If you know other people that might be interested in my leather products, I'd love it if you'd share it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.